Hi guys, this is Raquel with Paints and Glitter, and I'm coming to you today with a design team project for KS Craft on AliExpress. I'm going to show you the dies that I've received and the items that I've made. This first one is a set of two. They're Suntan lotion bottles, and they come with the little circles that you can layer on top of the bottle as well as the little suns. The largest is just under 3 inches. The smallest here, as you can see, is 2 inches tall, and as far as the width, they are 1 3/4 inches wide, as well as just about 1 inch or 1 1/8 inch wide for the small one. The card that I've made is this one here, and what I did was that I created a scene. It's a little beach scene, as you can tell, and what I did was that I chose to use the bottle as if they were little sand castles almost. So as you can tell there, I did layer the circle on top of the larger bottle, and then I used the little sun actually behind the sun stamp that I cut out. And then for the smaller bottle, what I did was I layered it 3 times here, and some of them I cut out multiple times so that way they would stand out a little more than the next. And then of course I did thread the little yarn through the top because, as you see, it does cut out, and I layered it also in gold so that would have a little bit more dimension. And this is just a little tent card, if you will, and on the bottom I just adhered the rick-rack to the bottom of the card so that it would give it a way to stand up. So there's that one. The next one is this hummingbird here, which measures 3 inches tall, and then at its widest point it's just about 2 inches. And also I've used this one here, which is basically like a topper. It only cuts one side and scores the other. This one measures just over 4.5 inches wide by just about 2 1/4 inches tall there. So I've used those two together, and what I did was that since this does not cut at the bottom, I cut it twice, and I made this card. Again, it doesn't cut at that center line, so I just layered it twice on the same piece of paper, cutting out a circle, and then I used a little hummingbird here, and as you can tell, because of the way that cuts, you do have the option of, since there are 2 dies here, of cutting the background. Then I cut the background, I layered both of them to cut the outer edge, and then I used the inner portion to cut it out in gold, and then I just inlaid the pink to give me a little more detail on that hummingbird. And then I put the ribbon on the center there to hide the score mark, basically, and that's where I place my sentiment. So there's that card. It's a top folding card, but I've not added a sentiment yet. And then the next die that I received are these 2 tag dies here, and these are quite versatile as well. There's 6 pieces total because there's the 2 base pieces here, then the outer edge pieces, and then these here, which will cut out the paper if you like. You can use those separately. So I'm going to give you an example here. For instance, this is the taller one, which by the way measures 4.5 inches tall by almost 3 3/4 inches wide, just under that. If you see, it cuts out solid here, and then you can cut out the layering piece. Hope you can see that. And that one does cut out the star, but you do have the option, if you'd like to use that little star to cut out of that base piece if you needed to. You can cut it out in different colors and layer it on top. It looks quite nice like so. And then this is just a sample of that smaller one, and so you can tell it does have that really pretty etched edge to the die. So I've used that as well as this die here, which cuts out these pretty stars. So I used both of these in the same project. I'll show you that one. And that is this card here. And what I did here, as you can tell, is I stamped and colored a gorgeous girl image, and I used the little stars right behind her. And then I placed her on top of the larger tag. And then I just created a little scene here as if she were floating, so to speak. And then I used another die also from Nicole Silhouette, which is the same person who designed these. And then I just stamped Happy Heart, and then I put 3 little clouds there. I added a silver lining to them, and I really like that. You can also use the little stars that cut out of the tag. You can use those separately. So there's that. The next one that I used were this set here, which measure just over 4.5 inches wide for the largest circle, and then the smallest one is 2 inches. And this is, of course, a set of 4 doilies, but what's different about them is that they have little hearts instead of circles, and I thought that was really beautiful. And then this piece here, which cuts out a musical note there, and then another smaller one here with all the swirls, which is really pretty. So the way I used that was that I made this cover here, which is going to be a little embellishment book to share some embellishments with a friend. So what I've done is I layered the largest one there, the doily, and as you can see there's those little hearts. Here's the second one, and it's got that pretty stitched line. And then I just cut out this image, which I colored and stamped out of a circle, and then added the other die on top with the music note. And this one here, you can actually cut it all out and leave it as one color, as you see here. Or you can also snip it and layer it, and then that way you get 2 colors or 3 colors, however many you want to cut, which I thought was really fun. So I did cut it twice and then just layered the gold piece on top, and that is the cover of my little book. And then I just finished it and added some pages so that way I could share some embellishments, as I said before, and that's what that looks like. It's got a lot of cute little dies, as well as pockets with dies and tags on the inside, and this was a lot of fun to make. And then this one here cuts out a box, so I'll show you what that looks like. It's really pretty. What I did was that I used some paper that already had baking motifs, if you will, little sweets there, and then it cuts out that top with a heart shape. And if you just squeeze it a little bit, it's very easy to open. You can open it like so, and I just put this here to show that yes, you can fit something on the inside, but you could use it for sweets or just for any kind of treat that you would like to share with a friend. But as you can tell, it opens pretty wide like that. So you could even use it as an explosion box if you wanted to, if you're familiar with that. Also, the finished size is right about 3.5 inches tall. Okay, so that would be great for a little party. And also, I've used this one, and thinking of the same thing, this is a cologne bottle. So it's meant to be a masculine cologne bottle, but what I was thinking was that it would make a beautiful goodie bag. So I've made it dimensional. What I did was that I just designed a little box to go inside of it, so I cut it out twice, kept it simple there on the background, as you can tell. I did dry emboss this paper, although the die does cut this one out very nicely, as you can see here. So this piece already gives you all those ridges, and then it has 9 pieces there. I'm sorry, I was just counting those. And then it has these the label, which I thought was really nice, and that's just about 1 7/8 inches wide for that label. So you could use that separately. And the bottle in and of itself is 4.5 inches wide, so it's a good size. The height is 4.5 inches as well. What I did here was that I had dry embossed this label piece, and then I cut the smaller one out in gold. And then what I did was that I added little brads there in the corner just to match the paper, and just inked over the edges of that, and added some tissue paper. And I think that would be really darling for a male party or a baby shower is what I was thinking, actually. This die set here comes with 7 pieces. It is a dress, as you can tell, with layering pieces that you can add inside. It has a little belt, the top there, it has a little bow, and then these 2 skirts, as well as a solid one here. It's a nice size as well. This one measures a little over 4.5 inches tall, and then as far as the width of the skirt, about 4 1/4 inches wide at the widest part of that nice billowy skirt. I made this simple card, and what I did was that I used some really pretty pearlized paper, and what I decided to do was to make it a little bit shabby chic, but also just very delicate looking, because I thought it would be pretty for a bride. As you can tell, that skirt piece cuts out all of that pretty detail. And then what I did was the little belt piece there, since it cuts out little holes, I added little pearls to that, and then a little flower in the center. I did pop up the different layers of the dress, and I added some ribbon and added some little gems there at the bottom. And then here's how I did the skirt. What I did was that I cut the bottom piece and I added tulle above that, and then I cut out the 2 layering pieces there, both the solid piece as well as this, I guess you would call it more of a fringed style skirt. I cut that out of vellum, as you can tell there. So there's the bottom, tulle, 2 pieces of vellum, and then the top, and then that gave me this result, which I think is quite lovely because it's very delicate looking and it adds dimension without adding too much bulk, and it kept it all very soft looking, and you can still lift it to see if you want to take a look at the detail of the dress, and there's some sparkle to that vellum, so I really like that. And then I just added vellum on the inside and stamped the word "for you," so you can write your sentiment on the vellum. So that's a result of that card, and I think that's going to be it for this video. If you have any questions, of course, as I always say, you can reach me at paintsandglitter@gmail.com. I hope that you've enjoyed this project share, and as I always say, I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.